Let's talk about Svetlana Kirilenko. Svetlana is the cousin of Irina Pelton, Tony's first groomer that we meet on the show.
2 months, she's only in America, and she's already getting married.
We actually first hear of Svetlana all the way back in season 1, when Irina tells Tony that Bill carried her out of the Gap store
Like a knight in a white satin armor.
We officially meet Svetlana in season 2, and she's Livia's nurse until Livia dies in early season 3. But the reason that Tony's meeting Svetlana in the hospital here is not because of Livia. It's because of Irina, who took 20 sleeping pills after Tony broke up with her and ended their relationship.
She has her life.
Look at you. You got one leg. You don't behave like that.
So I guess in a way, Svetlana sort of played nurse/social worker to Irina.
He's right, Rishka. He's very smart man.
As we know, sometimes people go about in pity for themselves. All the while, a great wind carries them across the sky. But some people don't go about in pity for themselves, like Svetlana, for example.
She's going to finish baby journals from long time ago. My idea. It's good for her. She realized that. Keep her mind active. I break promise to you, Tony. It does not often happen with me.
Speaking of which, my mom had this kind of extensive record collection. Caruso, Robert Merrill.
I don't want to make a trouble, but Miss Janice, I feel I have to respect her wishes.
Music has charms, Ma.
Something I was thinking about, I wonder if Janice took it extra personally that Livia gave Svetlana those records, because music was something, a rare something, that Janice and her mother were able to connect on, at least some level. In response to Svetlana refusing to give Janice the records that Livia had allegedly given to Svetlana, Janice does the reasonable thing, takes Svetlana's prosthetic leg.
Janice! Janice!
Your leg? Oh, yeah. Where's your...
I know you took it. I didn't think you would have the nerve to show your face to me.
What's wrong? Tell me.
Nothing is wrong, Ma. Why does something have to be wrong? Why? What happened? What's wrong?
Because you think that will make me give records back.
Looking for this Russian. He's a friend of Svetlana Kirilenko. You know, Irina's cousin.
The one-legged woman. I know who she is.
But I don't want her involved.
Another way that Svetlana is connected to the Sopranos story, beyond just the episodes that she appears in, is through Tony getting back at the Russian. Because Janice stole Svetlana's prosthetic leg and wouldn't give it back to her right away, Svetlana had someone beat up Janice. Some Russian guy. So that's Tony's sister. He has to retaliate. He can't just let that go unpunished. So Tony, he goes to his Russian guy, asks for a favor. When Svetlana and Tony first meet, there's nothing sexual going on. They're just meeting because they need to deal with Irina's situation. And then, of course, Tony begins to see Svetlana more and more when she becomes Junior's nurse. But it's not until the end of season 4, after Tony's ego is bruised from seeing that Irina is now with Assemblyman Zellman. I guess this is Tony's way of getting revenge, whether or not it's something that's at a conscious level for him, and Svetlana's not really interested in necessarily seeing him again. Tony's shocked.
What do you mean?
Maybe I call you. But I don't think so.
You didn't like it?
Keep in mind, he's used to Irina, Gloria, Valentina, people who are all over him. So now he's like, wait, huh? You know how Irina, when she called the Stugats and Gloria answered?
Who's calling?
This is Mrs. Washington.
Makes me think of the dollar bill with George Washington's face on it. So now let's look at Svetlana. Her fiance's name is Bill. Just wanted to note that. That might mean absolutely nothing at all, but
I wish I knew your secret.
she seems very hardened. Having ice in her veins, perhaps, is a defense mechanism.
He's gonna rip them up.
A way of protecting herself against feeling abandoned, feeling hurt, feeling that people let her down.
There are worse things. What's the trouble with you Americans? You expect nothing bad ever to happen,
I can't catch a break.
when the rest of the world expect only bad to happen.
A suicide car bomber kills 2 U.S. soldiers and wounds 25 more west of Baghdad.
You have everything, and still you complain.
I don't know. I'm bored or something.
Bitch to a psychiatrist.
Where's my happiness then?
You got too much time to think about yourselves.
If we think about the timing of this episode, The Strong Silent Type, Season 4, Episode 10, premiered on November 17th, 2002. So just a little over a year after 9/11. And I feel like Svetlana's lines here about you expect nothing bad ever to happen is almost a reference to that in some way. Gave us a rude awakening of our vulnerability. Let's talk a little bit more about this Bill character.
It's moving day, huh?
How did Svetlana meet Bill?
2 months. She's only in America.
I guess that engagement happened really quickly. Kind of makes you wonder if it was sort of like an arrangement. When Tony and Svetlana hooked up that one time, Bill was down in Port St. Lucie for spring training with the Mets. I wonder if he ran into Junior. He played shortstop for the Mets, you know. When Svetlana says to Tony, "Don't start with those Mets," I almost hear like a little bit of resentment or frustration.
How about those Mets?
Don't start with me on those Mets.
Irina tells Tony in Season 1 that Svetlana is getting married. We're in Season 4, Episode 10. They're still not married. Things change. Perhaps the Mets is something that Bill's using as an excuse to not want to settle down yet.
What does she have that I don't have?
In a way, Svetlana was like a variation of the happy wanderer for Tony, which is, I think, more reason why he was so frustrated when she didn't want to see him again. It's one thing after another. Tony says he's got lots of problems, so he wants to see Svetlana to try to escape from those problems. Svetlana says she already has enough problems, so she doesn't want another problem. Tony.
The nurse who took care of your mother, who I liked?
What about the cause of death? Did they say?
Massive stroke.
Yeah.
Who I talked to on the telephone about your mother's alopecia and her bowel movements, who you told me came from an agency, who I shared vodka with the night your mother died?
As Dr. Melfi says, it wasn't enough to have the mistress. You needed the mistress's cousin, too.
You're a nice guy, but I got my own problems. We had bad argument over FICA and federal withholding. I take from her paycheck.
FICA and federal withholding.
Divorce is very hard for kids. After this, they don't trust.
As a fellow child of divorce, I wouldn't say it's so cut and dry like that, but of course, there are definitely issues and feelings that could develop as a result of parents getting divorced. To be fair, it doesn't take a divorce to create trust issues.
The level of trust in this family.
Svetlana had a very unique personality. If you've seen the show, which I assume you have, you know what I'm talking about. Favorite Svetlana words of wisdom.
Not often happen with me that these old ones get away with something. The father died, 55 years old. Probably was good thing. Anyway, he was not working. But I got my own problems. I don't want all the time prop you up. Psychiatrist is very scary thing for Russian. Means being sent to Gulag. Political rehabilitation. Position is 9/10 of law. Bill, don't waste breath.
When Carmela says, "What does she have that I don't have?" that hits hard. I think for anyone who's ever been in a similar situation, it hits hard. I hope you enjoyed this video. What's your favorite thing about Svetlana?